Wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WrestleRant Radio here today for Thursday, August 14th, 2025. So much to discuss here on the show today. Being joined by the one, the only, the illustrious, the man joining me for NXT Heatwave next weekend, which I am heavily anticipating being back in the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. It is the one and only Mr. Marceau, brother. What's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm in the process of getting my arm cut off, my leg cut off, and getting a bank loan for Heatwave next weekend because that's what it costs to go to a WWE show in 2025. But listen, it's going to be worth it. I'm looking forward to seeing Mr. Marceau in the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. So that's what it takes. I'll be there, right?
Yeah, no, I feel like it's like our favorite venue that we've gone to the last couple of years. So, I mean, hey, like you said, bank loan or not, we'll be there.
Hey, listen, we will be there. Thanks to everyone for joining in live in the chat, which I'll address in just a few moments. Want to get a few things out of the way real quick. New episodes of the show every single Thursday on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com. You can find the audio as well on all your favorite major podcast platforms, as well as the video on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/WrestleRant every single Thursday. Shout out to the channel members, Alexis, Miss Mom, Matthews, Dylan, Giacomo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on the IG, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on X as well, John Ritland right here on YouTube, Real Honesty with John Ritland, Richie right here on YouTube as well, Red Planet Wrestling, as well as Average Grunt at the Average Grunt on X, who I know, and we'll get into about it, not specifically about him, but I know he wasn't happy about it. The counter-programming going on at WWE and AEW presumably next month with All Out happening on September 20th. New WWE PLE coming that exact same day. Not new, I mean, it would very likely be Bad Blood reportedly, but the word on the street is that WWE wants to run that show so they could take away from whatever headlines AEW wants to create that weekend with their own show, quite possibly Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. We were talking last week, when do we get that match? It might very well be in a month from now at that newly announced WWE pay-per-view. That has not been made official as of this recording. It might be by later today, by tomorrow. We'll get into it. Is it a good thing, bad thing, competition? WWE's ramping it up with these counter-programming pay-per-views. Not just with NXT anymore. Now it's the mainstream pay-per-views. We'll get into that, as well as the WWE PLEs now being on ESPN. Have a lot to say about that. We saved the conversation from last week for this week, and I'm glad I did, because there's a lot more details out about it, as well as the UFC. Mr. Marceau is going to have some 2 cents on that. I know he's very familiar with that, of course, so we'll be discussing that momentarily as well. Some thoughts from Raw. Naomi may be out indefinitely, question mark. Update on Karrion Kross. Apparently he's a free agent now, so we'll be talking about that as well, and so much more. So shout out to everyone in the chat, like I said, joining us. We'll get to the chats in just a moment, but be sure to like the video, subscribe. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. Johnny asked, better match from Forbidden Door, Will versus Kenny or Will versus Swerve? I think Will and Swerve was better from last year, but Will and Kenny was a great match too. Am I happy to see the Lights Out Steel Cage match, or do I wish it was Blood and Guts? Brother, it's the same thing, different name, same game, different name. It's basically the same match, but I don't really care one way or the other. Kind of feels rushed, but should be quite the spectacle at Forbidden Door nonetheless. Johnny also asked for Mr. Marceau, will fighters' pay get better in 2026 in the UFC? Maybe the fighters should get a union. Great question. I will get back to that in a moment when we talk about the PLE things. That's the first thing we're discussing. And there's a lot to talk about with the UFC stuff too. That's a great question. And I'm also curious what your 2 cents are on that. Do I think Naomi could be out for too long, and who should replace her as champion? We'll get into that with the Naomi stuff a little bit later on. Dynamite, thought it was fine. You're asking me my thoughts on that, Fernando. What's going on? Nathaniel talking about Cope and Christian being back. Thought it was well done last night on Dynamite, but it's totally rushed for sure. This is a good question, but a very obvious question. If Cena retired today, Mr. Marceau, who would you say had the better retirement run, John Cena or Sting? I feel like the obvious answer would be Sting. Sting didn't go heel nonsensically and then go back to being a babyface. But would you agree, Sting, in that case? I know John Cena's isn't over yet.
I mean, Cena won the Chamber, won the title. Like, obviously, after winning the title wasn't the greatest follow-up, but, like, the match with him and Cody was great. We still don't know what's going on, but,
yeah.
I mean, he won the main title. He was at the end of the Royal Rumble. I mean, I guess we'll have to see how it flushes out, but, I mean, if he has a good last couple of matches, I think you'd probably lean Cena just because, like I said, he was in top programming. Sting was kind of more underneath stuff, but, I mean, Sting also had a great retirement, especially with his age.
Yeah, I guess it can go either way, but debatable. I guess we'll see how Cena intends to finish out in some of the matches he's going to have. But that Cody Rhodes match, Dave Meltzer actually gave it 5 stars, which I don't know if I'd go quite that far with all the bazooka no-selling and stuff, but Gunther and Punk got 4.5. There was another 5-star match from the weekend, I think. Wasn't the women's world title match? Oh, maybe the TLC match, and that might have gotten 4.5. I think that got 4.5. But yeah, Cena and Cody got 5 stars, which is kind of incredible. He gave their first match at Mania, I think, 0.5 star or 1 star. I mean, it wasn't that drastic. I mean, it was a big difference. But to say one from 1 star to 5 stars is a bit excessive, would you say?
Yeah, it's a little much, but hey, it's one person's opinion.
Hey, it's Uncle Dave. His opinion means everything. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
His opinion is gospel. Maria, what's going on? Let's see. She asked, top 5 Rumble Io Sky matches. I don't know what Rumble has to do with anything, but Mr. Marceau, what are some of your favorite Io Sky matches that you've seen in the last number of years?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, the triple threat from Mania is probably up. I don't know if it's one or it's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I think.
Also, the Evolution match with Rhea.
The Evolution match with Rhea was. I mean, all her matches she's having Rhea have all been really good. The one with, I mean, the SummerSlam match wasn't as good as the Mania match, but I still think that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of her stuff from NXT was good.
She and any of the matches with Candice and NXT. She also had a great match with Bianca at that Puerto Rico Backlash show a couple of years ago.
That was a good match. That's when the fans were chanting for her. That was kind of when she started kind of getting her footing with the fans. I feel like that's when she was super over, even as the heel from Damage Control. But yeah, I would say those matches specifically stick out. I don't have the greatest memory of all time, but those are the ones that would stick out to me.
Listen, I might have a better memory, but my memory is just as clear as you are as far as the Io Sky matches. And because I feel like so many of them are so great. I mean, including the one on Raw this week with her and Roxanne Perez, that Roxanne managed to eke out the victory, which we were happy about. Roxanne finally wins. Can't get an entrance to save her life. That's televised, but...
I was going to say, she didn't get an entrance, but hey, she got the win.
Hey, at least she got the win. But yeah, those are some great Io Sky matches worth checking out. Maria also asked, good question here as well. Have we been to all the major WWE PLE shows live at least once? Yeah, I mean, we've been to shows they don't even have anymore, right? But, I mean, let's list them off. Rumble you've been to.
I've been to 2 Rumbles.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say I haven't been to a Rumble with you. That's not true. We went to a Rumble together in 2018.
We went to Rumble together.
What am I talking about? I'm thinking of 2011 for you, for Mini Marceau, but no.
We've literally been to all major ones, and we've been to all of them together too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we haven't sat together at Mania, but we've been to Mania together a few times. SummerSlam we did. Same thing, I think. I don't know if we sat together, but we
didn't sit together, but we went together.
Yeah, we went together, and Survivor Series we sat together twice.
We sat together twice, and we did the 20-minute train ride.
In 2021 on the way to Brooklyn. Yep. But yeah, I mean, Money in the Bank. We also sat together. You've been a few times.
We sat together at Money in the Bank.
Sat together at Money in the Bank in Chicago. Hell in the Cell. I mean, that's not around anymore, but we went to Hell in the Cell. TLC. We did not sit together, but we both went together.
Did we not?
No, I think it was me and Connor, and then you and Molly elsewhere, and then I think Cam sat with you. I think, right?
Cam and Jeff were there. Yeah,
Jeff was there.
Shannon was there. Yeah, Shannon got an Uber back to Endicott after TLC.
Got lost on the way back. Got an Uber on the way back. What a story!
I'm trying to think what else I've been to.
Backlash too.
Backlash.
We've been to that together.
Elimination Chamber, we went together.
Yep, Elimination Chamber. That was my first one. Your first as well. We went to that together. Yeah, we've been to most of them. I haven't been to Night of Champions. Have you, or Clash of Champions or whatever?
I don't think so.
Not a major one, but no, I don't think we've been to that one.
Extreme Rules, we went together.
Yep, we went to Extreme Rules. I think I've been twice? I think we just went once. I know we went once. I don't know if I went
No,
a second
you
time.
went to the one when Bray Wyatt came back.
Yes. I love how you remember that, and I do not remember that. But yes, I was at that show. We drove 4 hours just to see Bray Wyatt return. It was well worth it, though. Yeah, we've been to pretty much all of them. I mean, like I said, we've been going to shows for so long. Specifically, RJ's been to some shows that don't even exist anymore, like Armageddon. I mean, that was your first ever
Armageddon
pay-per-view.
was great.
20 years ago.
04 or 5.
Yeah, Nathaniel asked if we've been to WrestleMania. Yeah, we've been to several WrestleManias. Yeah, we went to the your first was before my first. You went to WrestleMania 30, which was a great show. Is that still? I think I've asked you before. That's still like the best one that you say you've been to?
I mean, compared to 33 and 35, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, those aren't exactly stellar shows. They had great moments, but 30 was definitely the better show all around. Yeah, so good stuff though. Cope and Christian you're talking about. I wonder if MJF beats Hangman at Forbidden Door. Probably not, but I'm looking forward to the match. MJF and Bobby Lashley at Full Gear for the world title will be a great main event. I don't know if I'd go great main event, but that's a match that makes sense. So, or Hangman Page versus Bobby Lashley. Yeah, I could see that as well. We're doing well, Millennial Noob. Thanks for asking. Nathaniel wanted to ask you, Mr. Marceau. I guess we'll kind of get into it later, but honestly, we could discuss it now. He said, how do you feel about Bayley turning heel and facing Lyra? I know you weren't high on the idea of them feuding, but what are your thoughts on the whole Bayley thing after that vignette on Monday?
I thought the vignette was pretty cool, but it's kind of, we talked about it a little bit last week. It's kind of like a lose-lose for me. I feel like I feel like Lyra really needs wins, and then if Bayley's going to go heel with this new character, she probably needs wins. So, I mean, neither of them really could afford a loss. If Bayley loses again, you're like, what was the point of turning here? And then Lyra loses. It's like, okay, now, like, she's kind of lost in the shuffle at that point. She loses to Bayley, then what do you do with her? 'Cause she can't face Bayley, or she can't face Becky, who's the champion. I guess we really don't know what's going on with the main title, but you wouldn't just kind of she wouldn't, like, losing to Bayley, she wouldn't then be thrust into the main title. So then what do you do with her from there? So I feel it's kind of a lose-lose.
I feel like she'll lose to Bayley at some point, but I feel like she has to ultimately win the feud, right? I mean, how could she not after losing to Becky ultimately? And multiple pay-per-views in a row, she lost to Becky at Evolution, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam, which made little sense, which we discussed last week. But I feel like she has to ultimately beat Bayley in whatever match they have. Now, she can't beat her in every match because she's already beaten her already. Then Bayley needs something, but does the whole Bayley, Bayley going psycho thing kind of intrigue you at all? Or is it like, we'll kind of see where it goes?
We'll see where it goes. I won't hold my breath on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it could be it could be good. It could be something cool for Bayley to do something different. But it could also go down the road of Shotzi, like, oh, I'm a psycho. Like, oh, look, I'm going to cut my hair. Like, that was terrible television. I'm sorry. That was awful. So it could go either way. Hopefully it's good. I love Bayley, so I'm hoping it's enjoyable at least, and it's something different. So we will see on that. Nathaniel said, I'm kind of done with Becky versus Lyra, but hey, maybe they go back to that at some point. They will totally go back to it at some point, but they can't go back to it now because Lyra can't challenge for the championship. So I'm glad you're kind of done with it because WWE's done with it too. It ended at SummerSlam for better or for worse. So I'm sure they'll go back to it down the road if they inevitably feud over the Women's World Championship on Raw. And yes, Nathaniel, Bayley could go to SmackDown, but I doubt they would air these vignettes for her going crazy on Raw, only for her to leave to SmackDown. But not a bad idea. So I do want to discuss what I wanted to bring up last week, this whole WWE on ESPN deal, this new service they're launching. And it's just called ESPN, confusingly enough, not ESPN Plus. Not that it's not included in the Hulu Disney bundle. This is totally separate. And with WWE specifically, we'll get to UFC because UFC is actually not included in this deal. And they're both under the same TKO umbrella. It was announced, among other live sports, so it's not just WWE, but WWE pay-per-views starting next year, because we've discussed this ad nauseum in the last probably year, because we've kind of had a feeling this was coming. As far as when they leave Peacock, where do they go? Do they start charging $60, $70 per pay-per-view again? Do they follow the UFC model, which is what they've been doing for the last number of years on these streamers and stuff like that? Again, you would know better than anyone. And UFC is actually not doing that. It was announced earlier this week. UFC is actually going to Paramount Plus soon for $9.99 a month. Obviously, that's not going to stick. It'll inevitably go up. You discussed that earlier before we went live. No surprise on that front. But it's still significantly cheaper than what it has been with paying per pay-per-view and $50, $60, $70, whatever it is, even if you share it with someone else. With WWE, if you don't have the ESPN service, as of now, if you don't have the channel ESPN, then you can't get the service, and you would have to pay $30 a month per show. Now, you were telling me beforehand, because there's a lot of confusion right now. For people like, I have Xfinity, so I don't actually get this right now, but you said by the time this would launch or down the road, it should become available. It won't be available at launch for people like me or people that have YouTube TV as well, which is a pretty vast majority of people at this point. You don't get it, even though you have ESPN on YouTube TV. But right now you don't. So it's an interesting dilemma. There's a lot more to say about that, but just on the surface, what are your thoughts, and how have your thoughts kind of evolved in the last week?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just really depends on what's going on. Like you said, with the whole, if you have ESPN, you get it, or like, it was kind of confusing. At first, they said, like, if you have ESPN, whatever, like, if you have cable or like any of those streaming services that have ESPN, you get it for free. I'm like, all right, sweet, I have YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Then they're like, well, actually, only Hulu and these other ones will have it right off the bat when it launches on August 21st, but these other ones that have ESPN should eventually get access. So I'm like, okay, well, technically this doesn't start till 2026. So if it's not till October, December, or September, October, November, December, fine, I'll wait. It doesn't really matter. But then if January, it's like, then what? Like, I think that's kind of the confusing part. It's like, I already have ESPN, so then why would I have to pay more for this access and streaming? I mean, I guess I already have the Disney, Hulu, ESPN Plus bundle. So at that point, I'm assuming there's probably going to be a new bundle that they can just bend me over financially anyway. So have at that point, but I think realistically, I already have ESPN through YouTube TV, so I'm paying extra because I'm pretty sure YouTube TV pays a more premium of ESPN that I should be able to get it for free.
Yeah, so in the end, is this a positive? I guess my question is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Because you are being charged more per event, but most of us should get this ultimately, right? I mean, it sounds like we should all have it.
Yeah. I mean, problem is everything now is going streaming services. Like even every sports, like you need this, you need that, you need this. Like, yes. So yeah, it does add up, especially. But I mean, I liked it on Peacock just because I had Peacock already because I watched the Premier League on it. Mm-hmm. So like now it's going to somewhere else. Like hopefully I can get it for free, so that won't be that big of a complaint. But I mean, realistically, they're going to get you somehow. So to me, it is what it is, unfortunately.
I just think if you are saving money, ultimately, let's say if you don't have, I mean, I probably have Peacock anyway, to be fair, but let's say if you cancel Peacock and you already get this ESPN service or whatever, you are saving money by not paying for Peacock. If that's all you have Peacock for is this, you said you have it for the Premier League. I watch Monk and Psych and other shows on
I was gonna say, I watch like NBC shows on it. I'd keep it anyways. Yeah. I have like a grandfathered plan. Like they offered, it was like a lifetime thing for $4.99 with no ads. So are
you serious?
Yeah.
Forever.
Like right when Peacock came out. Yeah. So every month they technically moved it to $9.99 a month, but every month they get a credit of $5 back every month.
That's incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
How
I got it right when Peacock came out.
You just must be flying under the radar or something. That is amazing because they force you to get the new shit now. I mean, the funny thing is with that. Not the same deal with Xfinity customers. You could get it for free initially. It was free for like a few years, which was great. And then they moved it to, okay, we're not doing that anymore, but we'll give it to you for $3 with ads. But, whatever. Like I said earlier before we went live, I'll just take the cheap version. I don't give a shit. I'll deal with the ads. I go take a piss, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's $3. Not free anymore, but it's still $3. And within a year or two, they're like, yeah, we don't give a fuck about you Xfinity people anymore. You're just going to pay full price for like everyone else, like all the rest of the plebs. I'm like, okay, whatever. So now I have the lower price, which is increasing anyway to I think $13 or whatever it is in like 2 weeks. But here's Mr. Marceau only paying $5 since the get-go.
$5 a month. Again, like I said, every month I get on my credit card, I get a credit back every month, $5.
That is hilarious. It's like you invested in this new, upstart company, and because you invested all this stock initially and you capitalized on this new deal, now you're reaping the benefits because you still have it all these years later and you're still only paying
ad-free, by the way. Ad-free.
That's the worst part. You know what I fucking hate? I want to go back and be able to watch SmackDowns and old shows on the network, on the Peacock. To me, it's not worth paying an extra $3, which is like nothing. That's just a dumb thing. But like, I don't want to have to pay the extra $3 to get all this shit ad free. It's just ridiculous. And it's going to be $16. It's going to be 13 in like 2 weeks, but not for you.
Not
$5
for you. $5
for me,
though.
for me and everyone else. That's crazy. But listen, what's wild about this to me? Well, actually, to go back to what I was saying a second ago, it's the convenience. Because you got, like you said, you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to make sure you have that too. And if you don't have this, you're not going to be able to watch that. With WWE fans in 2025, and people act as if like, oh, it was so much less, less expensive with the WWE Network, which it was. But if you were watching Raw, if you were watching SmackDown, you were still paying for cable. Like, I mean, people don't really like, oh, it was just $9.99 10 years ago. No, it wasn't. It was.
Exactly. That's the thing that people overlook.
Yeah,
it's
it was
like you're also paying for this other stuff. Like cable alone, you're paying to watch it.
Now, granted, in 2025, you are still technically paying for cable or YouTube TV or whatever to watch SmackDown and NXT. That is true in the U.S. Elsewhere, everything's on Netflix, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, you're paying for Netflix, for Raw, Peacock.
Yeah, but most people aren't paying just Netflix for Raw, though. That's the thing. There's like
they probably already have Netflix.
I had Netflix before I was on there.
Yeah,
now it's
too.
more convenient because it's already on there.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Netflix is the biggest platform. Most people have that automatically. Not for free, but they already have it. They were already paying for it anyway. So it is a drastic difference. To me, it's just a convenience of previously when you were paying more or less or whatever it was with cable, with the WWE Network. With the WWE Network, everything was on there ad-free, which was amazing. Second, I mean, if you're Mr. Marceau, you already have everything ad-free for less, but whatever, we'll overlook that. At least everything was in the same place. WWE does not give a shit about convenience. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care. They're going to do what makes the most sense. And one thing I forgot to mention was, what did they sign up? $1.2 billion deal for this ESPN service? I get why they did it. It's money. But they're not doing it to benefit me. They're not doing it to benefit. They're not doing it like, oh, you're going to get it included anyway. No, they're just making money off of it. That's why they do anything.
Well, that's just like anything else, yeah.
It's like anything else. They're a
it's
big
like the
company.
NFL. It's like you need Amazon, you need Netflix, you need Peacock, you need Paramount Plus, you need Apple TV, you need fucking Roku. Like, you want to watch every game. If there's no convenience, like you said, the convenience is out the window.
Yeah.
It's like if you really want to watch it, you need X, Y, and Z to watch it.
Yep. I'm going to throw a jump scare on the screen real quick. I'm going to throw this picture on there for anyone watching live. Hold on. I'm going to show this to you as well. I just showed you a second ago. See that man right there?
Oh.
That is Vincenzo McMahon, all right? Courtesy of the TMZ special on Tuesday. I bring him up because this past week, with all the talk of the ESPN stuff, people are like, oh, yeah, it was so much cheaper with the WWE Network. Thanks to Vince. Thank you, Vince. Bow down, whatever. Thanks to him, everything was so much cheaper. Bro, the only reason why the network was even created was because they couldn't justify being on pay-per-view anymore because people were not buying the pay-per-views. It wasn't to make it cheaper for me and you. They don't care about that. They were doing that because they thought they could make more money at some point by selling their library to a Peacock or whatever. And they did. They ended up doing that 7 years later. So, I mean, this man you might think some people think, oh, man, he did us such a great favor by making everything so much cheaper. Oh my God, look at that face. He looks like melted wax. I'm sorry. It's scary. Okay. You would think that, he did us all a favor. He really did not. Okay. He just really just made things cheaper because he had to. But again, I feel like it's all about, I'm seeing double of myself for some reason. I'll try to fix that. But yeah, just talk about that as far as the money deal that they signed here and what you think this could ultimately will it get better? Do you think the bubble's going to burst with WWE and they're going to be forced to go back to the way things were? Maybe not with the network, but I mean, the product being so good, this is just basically a byproduct of that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think it's just these companies see the money. They're just trying to, at this point, just take what they can. And
yeah,
I mean, like you said, I think the same thing with the UFC. I think they started to realize that pay-per-view is not as profitable as they used to be. So now they don't have to worry about selling pay-per-view. It all go through Paramount. So, I mean, they made a ton of money doing it. So, that's at the end of the day, that's what they're looking at.
No, it's all about the money.
It's all about the money at the end of the day. I mean, they're saying, we're doing it for you fans, but they're going to get their money somehow. Like I said, there's no chance that Paramount's going to stay as cheap as it is now. They'll probably bump it up $10, $20 and whatever.
No.
But like you said, I just think at the end of the day, they do it more for their profit than more making it easier for us. Like, yeah, it's nice. I don't have to pay $70 a month now to watch UFC, but there's some kind of catch. Like, they're going to, I mean, there's got to be something. Like I said, now that service is going to go up more money. And then now your YouTube TV will probably go up more money because now they're going to say they have UFC on CBS occasionally. So, like, that will go up. So, but, I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, they do it for money. I think they said that, like, for ESPN, it was like they're getting like $500 million for the UFC each year. Now they're getting $1 billion a year from Paramount. Like, they just doubled their original media rights. Exactly. Yeah. It's crazy. But, like, they weren't even really talking about Paramount until, like, last week when they got, like, that merger went through.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there's that, like, whoever bought it, they're like, oh, we wanted to own something, and they just, like, paid up the ass for UFC. But like I said, it looks good at the front, but they'll get their money somehow.
Yeah, no, they'll definitely get their money somehow. I mean, going back to the UFC thing, you talked about it, how they're just going to make their money somehow off of ads and stuff like that. But it's just surprising that we're at a point now with the whole UFC thing where these shows could theoretically be cheaper. Now, obviously, Paramount's going to go up. We know that, like we said. But just the fact that they're $9.99 in the WWE pay-per-views, if you don't already have ESPN, which most people do, to be clear, we already talked about this. But that is kind of like, what bizarre world are we living in where the UFC pay-per-views are cheaper? And not only that are they cheaper, it's also a case of that this is the same company. WWE is owned by the same company that UFC is. They're the same people that are making these deals. It's just surprising to me, and maybe it isn't to you, that the UFC pay-per-views wouldn't be a part of this ESPN service, but WWE would be, especially for the amount of money they're probably making off of it. They would make off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I think since they're under the same umbrella. Yeah, I mean, I think they also, since they're under the same umbrella, they probably want to, like, span out. Like, they want to get their money from different people. So, like, they'll get the Paramount money here.
Yeah.
They'll get the ESPN money here. I know they have Zuffa Boxing as well, or TKO Boxing, or whatever the fuck they call that. That'll probably go somewhere else. So they'll get some money from there. Like they said, they're going to spread the wealth out. Like you said, it really depends on, like, how this whole ESPN thing works out.
Mm-hmm.
If I get it through YouTube TV, then it is what it is. But like I said, it is. I mean, I'm surprised. Especially most leagues they do kind of go, like, their media rights are all over the place. Like, the NFL's on CBS, Fox, NBC, ESPN, Amazon, Netflix. Like, so I am surprised that they both kind of went with one big brand. But I mean, with how much money Paramount got, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I mean, it's definitely unprecedented times. I saw Ariel Helwani, who was interviewing Karrion Kross yesterday, which we'll talk about later. But he also said the other day when he was discussing this deal, pay-per-view is dead. And then Dana White did a press conference basically saying pay-per-view is not dead. What's your take on that?
It's not dead because they got 4 more shows.
They do, but I mean, after that, the future of pay-per-view, I mean, obviously boxing pay-per-views and stuff are still on pay-per-view, right? I mean, I know we had that big fight, the Tyson-Paul fight late last year. That was on Netflix, not pay-per-view. That was on Netflix.
Well,
so
Canelo and Crawford's also on Netflix too, which is like the Zuffa Boxing first big fight. That's going to be on Netflix too.
Yeah, that's the one that WWE's been hyping up pretty heavily, right? Or is that something else?
Yeah, that's under the TKO umbrella, yeah.
Gotcha. So that being said, in your opinion, maybe not today, but in a couple months, is pay-per-view dead?
I mean, I think after UFC moves off pay-per-view, I don't know if it'll be dead, but it'll be pretty close to it.
Yeah, that's the state of affairs in 2025. And then going back to Johnny's question from earlier, does this deal for UFC making all this money affect fighter pay?
I mean, it should. I mean, I guess my thing is I feel like it'll hurt the bigger stars more than it'll hurt the bigger stars more because I feel like they make more money on pay-per-view. They probably have
interesting. Yeah.
All that stuff. I'm assuming, like you said, they doubled their money. So theoretically, they should be making more money.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I'm not sure exactly. Some of the guys, champions, like, they have pay-per-view points based on their drawing power and stuff like that. So, I mean, maybe they'll look at, like, viewership and be like, oh, they can kind of antiquate that to paying them more money. But, I mean, realistically, they should get paid more.
I was surprised. I didn't really think that was the connection. I totally misread that and thought that people were asking that question because of the amount of money that UFC is getting paid to be on Paramount Plus. But you're saying that it might affect, like, it may because they're not on pay-per-view. Is that why people are asking that question? That's why pay-per-view or fighter pay might go up or down? I thought it was more so the fact that we're getting paid so much money by whatever this is, Paramount Plus.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's some people that have like pay-per-view points, so they get paid more based on like I said, their drawing power, because based obviously more people buying the pay-per-views, $70 a month. Like, I mean, there has to be some kind of equation there, but I mean, I can think, like I said, maybe they'll look at subscribers, or they can probably figure out how many people are watching, and they can figure that on the back end.
Makes sense. One of those pay-per-views that could soon be on the ESPN service is Bad Blood 2025. Not on ESPN. That's going to go into effect next year, but maybe on the next calendar, pay-per-view calendar for WWE, Bad Blood could be included. But on Peacock for now, that could be the next pay-per-view after Clash in Paris. Because on the calendar as it is, August 31st, we have Clash in Paris, and then we have Crown Jewel in Australia, where Rhea Ripley is getting her Women's World Championship back. So we'll just start the tears flowing now. It's happening. But they might add another show on September 20th. Now, the big talk this week is the whole counter-programming thing. And as you told Grunt, which is a good point, you're going to watch what you're going to watch. There's a lot of people like him specifically. He probably, aside from WWE trying to, not even just send a message, trying to hurt AEW's business, AEW people are going to watch All Out regardless. I don't think they were ever really on the fence. There are people that could go back and forth. I'm going to watch both. At the same time, probably not, but I have to make a choice. I don't know which one I'm going to watch as of right now. Kind of depends on what the cards look like. But now we're getting to a point with WWE's counter-programming where they're now putting their main pay-per-views up against AEW's. And I had seen today that Dave Meltzer's theory on this was that they're trying to hurt AEW and ruin their next television deal, which isn't up for another 3 or 4 years. So I feel like this is just kind of a waste of time. So they can make TNA the second biggest company in the country, which I'm sorry if that was going to happen. It would have happened a decade ago. It's not happening. They've been helped out a lot by this WWE partnership. That's true. But I just don't see a reality where they help out TNA so much that they surpass where AEW currently finds itself. What's your take on the whole counter-programming thing? Again, you're going to watch the WWE pay-per-view regardless. You're one of those people, which I totally understand. But, like, is it a big deal? And why do you think WWE's doing this?
I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. Like I said, the Grunt, I mean, I think you're going to watch what you watch. And if you don't want to watch it, you won't watch it. Like, I'm not going to watch All Out, and I'm going to watch the pay-per-view, and that's just my decision. I mean, sure. Regardless if it was vice versa, I would have done the same thing. I mean, I'm going to choose what I want to watch, regardless of if something else is on. I mean, were people crying in the 1990s when WCW went head-to-head with Vince on Monday Night Raw? I mean, you got to make a decision. Especially back then with television, you watch one or the other. It is what it is. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's, like you said, it's competition. They want to take away buzz and hype and all that stuff. I mean, I see why they do it. I mean, I think at this point, I feel like they're clearly number one and they're clearly number two. So I'm not really sure why it really matters. But like you said, if they're really trying to push TNA, I guess that's something. I don't know if it's really going to work out. But, I mean, besides that, like, at this point, I feel like it's kind of the line in the sand's already drawn, so it's not like they're just starting up. Like,
I know.
It is what it is.
And they weren't doing this in 2019 or 2020 or whatever. This is really something they've done actually a lot more of since Triple H took charge. And it's not the wrong thing to do. I think it's more of an annoyance for certain people where it's like, I don't want to have to choose between the two. And, WWE's doing it because they want to send a message to AEW that, we're the bigger company and all that other stuff. But that's already well established. It might also be annoying for fans for WWE to say they're not competition. But by doing this, they're basically outright admitting they're competition. Maybe not in terms of viewership, obviously. Maybe in terms of talent or goodwill with fans or whatever it might be. I just feel like just for me, I'm annoyed by it because I watch both shows. I would just much rather they separate the weekends, have it next weekend, you do yours this weekend, so everyone gets a little love. They don't give a shit about AEW, I get that, but it's just, to me, it's just completely unnecessary, and especially just adding another show. That's another part of this that I haven't really mentioned either. They're doing a pay-per-view 3 weeks after Clash, and another show right before Crown Jewel, and I said this a few months ago, and I'm curious if your thoughts have changed at all. For me personally, I feel like the more shows they do, and I saw Nick Khan saying, we're only going to do 10 PLEs on ESPN next year. Yeah, bullshit. You're not just doing 10 PLEs. Give me a break. You're probably going to do fucking 12 or 13. But I feel like the more shows they do, the less special they get. It's like with SummerSlam. That did not need to be a 2-night show. I feel like the bigger that you go, the less special these shows are. They're not bad pay-per-views. I would still take these pay-per-views over Vince's PLEs that were terrible 7 years ago. But I still feel like they don't need a September show. I mean, they have Crown Jewel right after Clash, like 5-6 weeks later. Why not just do a 6 weeks build instead of doing what they're doing with the whole 3-week thing by adding this show unnecessarily in the middle of September?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is maybe they want a domestic show. I mean, like I said, I feel like just putting it in, I mean...
And why Indianapolis, too? You know?
Yeah, I mean... Obviously, they're in Paris, then it'd be back in the U.S., and they go back to Perth, and then Saudi. So, like I said, the only other thing I could think of is they want a domestic show. But like you said, the 3-week builds, I mean, for me, it's like more content, but, I mean...
Sure.
You kind of got to go more quality over quantity. I mean, you have 1,000 shows. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it does kind of get to a point. It's like, what are we doing here? But... At the end of the day, we say the bottom line.
If they're making money off it, they don't care. The bottom line
is they're making money and they don't care.
No, they don't care. And listen, I will say this. The one positive of it, I think the counter-programming is dumb. I don't really think... To me, in my opinion, there is nothing to gain. WWE, whatever, people aren't going to be like, oh, man, I was going to watch All Out, but now WWE's that same day. I'm going to go watch WWE instead. They already have their core fan base. Like, anyone that's on the fence...
But I don't think it's more the viewership thing. I think it's more like I said, it's more like the buzz thing.
Take away from whatever buzz.
I think they understand. Like I said, if you're gonna watch one or the other, you're gonna watch one or the other. It's not like, oh, now that it's up, I'm gonna watch this instead. No, I think you're gonna watch one or the other, and then like I said, I think it's more of like you catch buzz and you're kind of like squashing any momentum they have because you're taking the buzz away.
Which you could if the shows are worth it. Now, they did with Evolution because Evolution was great. But on the same day they did All In, the whole reason why they did Saturday Night's main event that weekend was to take away whatever buzz that All In had. All In was an objectively better show. Saturday Night's main event was not good. It was not an overall great show. That installment back in July. They also did Great American Bash at the exact same time as All In. No one watched the show. No one was talking about the show. I feel like when they do stuff like that, it just hurts themselves. WWE is the bigger company. Better depends on the week. Sometimes they are better creatively. Sometimes AEW is better. That's just the way that things go. But I feel like when WWE does this sort of thing, you're right. Theoretically, it can take away from AEW's like headlines and stuff if it's a good show. Like if Cena and Brock go in there that night, which it's reportedly set for that show, and if they do it, thank God, get it out of the way early, please. In my opinion, I do not need to see this dragged out for 3 months. Just my opinion. I don't want to see any more rematches. I'm good. You might feel differently. But like Cena and Brock would need to really have... Like, they need to go in there and have a great match for people to talk about that over whatever they're going to do at All Out, which might be better from an in-ring standpoint and have more people, like, positively buzzing. Maybe not when the Death Riders were a thing. Those pay-per-view main events were fucking terrible. But, you know, that was a few months ago. I just feel like if you're going to do this, that's great, but you also have to go in there and have a great show to really successfully do what you're saying to take away from the buzz.
Yeah, but you're putting in bigger stars, so regardless if it's a great match or not, I feel like people would talk about it more.
Hopefully it's good, though, but it's not
positive or negative. You can talk about how bad it is. I mean, it's like the Goldberg thing. More people talking about the whole bad Goldberg retirement. The whole, like, that was the buzz coming out of that weekend. No one was really talking about Hangman beating Moxley.
No, I disagree. I disagree.
They were talking about an Ariel Helwani show. It was all over the news.
I know, but I feel like that changes the narrative of like, listen, I'm giving up on WWE. I'm not a fan of what they're doing here with this Goldberg retirement. Like, okay, whatever. But like if it consistently happens, a lot of people may not want to watch with the whole Brock thing going on right now. And again, how big is that percentage of people that are jumping ship? Probably not very high. Very low.
I mean, I think it's like I said, the line's kind of in the sand at this point. I don't think it's really changing much.
No, but I would like to see WWE going back to what they did when Triple H first took over with the goodwill with the fans. Try to cultivate that more. Because when you do more dumb booking decisions, like, there hasn't been a whole bunch, but like the John Cena heel run, there's been a lot more negative attention towards WWE since they started doing that because that was just awful. I'm sorry. It was just bad.
It was bad, but like they pivoted.
They did.
And now it's over.
They did. I just want to see.
And like, I feel like people are complaining, like, oh, like it didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, do you want them to keep dragging this out or like just act like it didn't happen? I'd rather the second. I would rather just move on from it.
Yeah, I would just move on from it as well, but Maybe have a long-term plan in place so we don't have to pivot in the first place. Or don't even turn him heel. What a concept.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like Cena was on board for it. Obviously, didn't really go well, but
yeah, it went the way that it did. Of course, he's on board for it. He does whatever they tell him to do. He's like, okay, cool, whatever. You want me to fight for the women's title? Sure. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's a company guy. The Triple H being like, oh yeah, he chose his opponent. Cena has said in 3 different interviews in the last week, I don't deal him, I play him. I just do whatever they tell me to do. So he's like, listen, Triple H, fuck you. I'm not taking the heat for that. I'm just going to do what you tell me to do. I don't want to work with him. I don't care if I work with Brock. You could ever work with Akira Tozawa, he would say yes at this point. So it's like, whatever, dude. But it's interesting. I don't know. So that's the counter-programming going on September 20th. I want to talk about this Naomi thing. People were asking about it earlier. She may not be a part of this Clash in Paris show. She's set for it. She's set to defend her Women's World Championship against Stephanie Vaquer on that show. Maybe no longer. She was actually first supposed to defend her championship on Monday's Raw against Io Sky. Match mere hours beforehand got pulled from the show. And they didn't announce what happened. They just said Naomi was not cleared. We're going to do Io Sky and Roxanne Perez instead. Great match. Roxanne won. Love to see it. But Naomi's status, even 3 days later, is still up in the air. Now, we're speaking now at noon on Thursday. This could change in an hour because I think Naomi and Jimmy are supposed to be on Stephanie McMahon's podcast today, which I figured would have already dropped. Maybe it's later. Maybe it's tomorrow. I don't know. But the big talk now is, Brian Alvarez being very cryptic about it. Oh, if I've heard what's true, then she's going to be out for a long time. Read between the lines. Could she be pregnant? Very possible. She's talked a lot about wanting to start a family. And I'm glad if that's the case. First of all, happy for him. Second of all, I'm glad she won the championship before that happened, because if she got pregnant before that happened, while she was Miss Money in the Bank, then she probably would have never won the championship. But at least she got that moment. But it's looking more and more like by the day, like that could be the case, unless she's very seriously hurt, which I also hope is not the case. Maybe this is nothing. Maybe she's back on Monday. Who knows? Maybe she just had COVID or had the flu. Maybe she just had a cold, okay, and they couldn't do the match. What do you think is going on with Naomi right now, and where do you think this is going?
I mean, if she's gonna be gone for a while, I don't know why the report would be out there if it, like you said, something very minimal.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, knowing us at 12:45 or 12:30 when we're done, I'll blast all over the internet and we'll look like idiots.
Oh,
at this
of course.
Point, but that's how it usually works out.
Yep.
So if she's gonna be out for a long time, what do you do from here? Obviously you're supposed to face Stephanie at Clash. They kind of not that they put planted seeds, but Stephanie kind of was her and Rhea. They did her and Io a little bit before the whole Naomi and them at SummerSlam. So I really don't know what you do from there. You keep saying Rhea's winning the belt in Perth anyways. So At that point, do you just put the belt on Rhea now, or do you put the belt on someone else in the interim and then Rhea gets the belt from them in October? When you give someone the belt for a month just to see how it works out, and maybe you kind of run with it from there, or you just put the belt on Rhea because why wouldn't you at this point? She hasn't had the belt in, God forbid, 6 months. You got to put it back on.
Too long, yeah.
But like I said, maybe you give it to someone new and see if they can run with it like they kind of did with Naomi. I don't really know what you do. So like I said, they did kind of plant a little seed before the triple threat. Stephanie was like, oh, I want to face you, Io, if you win. Oh, I want to face you, Rhea, if you win. Well, if Naomi's out of the picture, maybe you do a triple threat or a fatal four-way at Clash, and who knows?
It's a tough spot to be in because we discussed it at the time. I know you weren't a big fan of it. I've been a fan of it. But personally, I think Naomi being in the spot is great. I've been a fan of it. But we can agree that I think they did this because otherwise she very likely would have cashed in on SmackDown. They did this because Liv Morgan got hurt. And now Liv Morgan was not the Women's World Champion, but she was very clearly, whether she was the top title champion or not, she was the top heel on that show. The entire Raw Women's division built around her. They had the Judgment Day stuff going for her, the Nikki Bella feud. She was also kind of feuding with Io Sky at the time over the championship before Io Sky lost it. She was feuding with Dominic. She was with Dominic. He's in tension with Balor. Roxanne. They were doing a whole lot with Liv. And then she got hurt and she left. And then they put Naomi on Raw, very likely to fill that spot. We talked about that at the time. And now that person they are using to fill the spot, and this could ultimately mean nothing. Again, this could go nowhere because she could be back on Monday. But if she's not, do you have a choice? I know you said they'll probably have to pivot, obviously. I agree. Who would be the person for that spot? If you have to book a top heel on Raw for the women, do you elevate Becky? Becky's great. She's not the top heel on the show. She's a great heel, but she's at the mid-card level right now. So I'm talking like, main women's world title picture. Do you elevate Roxanne to that spot? Do you turn, I know you would maybe recommend Rhea. I still say she's too popular for that right now to turn her, but you have Stephanie. I wouldn't do that either. Bayley's going heel. Lyra's there too. Asuka, they might turn on Io Sky. Where do we go from here? Who would you put in that spot? And it could be someone from SmackDown or NXT too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just feel like it really depends on what they plan on doing. Like, what was the seeds? Like, how long do they really, if this is not the case, like, how long do they really have Naomi holding the belt for? Like you said, if she's holding it till October and losing to Rhea, LOL, do you put it on someone like Roxanne for a month and see if she can do something with the belt? Do you put it on Becky and just move away from Rhea? Do you just put it on Rhea now and she faces Ivy Nile because there's no other heels on Raw? And I mean, I don't know what you do, but like, they're so babyface heavy. I feel like you kind of have to put it on a heel. Like you said, Liv leaves, they put the belt on Naomi, who's a heel. If she's gone, I guess you could put it on Rhea or one of those other people, but like there really isn't any top heels from the face. Like I said, that's why I jokingly said Ivy Nile. I guess you could put on Bayley, but it just really wouldn't make sense because she's lost so much lately. Like if she turns heel and all of a sudden she's champion, I don't really love that idea. Like I said, maybe you put it on Stephanie, but who's she going to face? There's no heels.
Mm-hmm.
And if you turn Asuka heel, I mean, her and Io are kind of like seemingly going to be in something. Not going to put on Kairi Sane. She's not really heel either. Raquel, no. Like Roxanne would realistically be the only one that makes sense that's currently on the Raw roster if you're going to go with a heel.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of great women on Raw. They're doing Io and Asuka. I'm down for that feud. It's not over the Women's World Championship, but at least they have that feud going for them. I'm looking forward to that.
Is that like officially a thing? I mean, she pushed her backstage. I mean,
I think they're going to turn her heel. Yeah, I think so. I mean,
even if you put the belt on Roxanne, like Liv's coming back eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, you could go right into that. I mean,
hopefully on the sooner side.
Yeah.
With Liv. I mean, they kind of are like, oh, she's going to be out for 9 months. Bro, if they say someone's going to be out for 9 months, that's WWE talk for she'll be back in 3 or 6, max.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe they won't have to worry about it. Maybe this is all for nothing. Maybe Naomi isn't actually hurt or pregnant. Maybe it's a work. Maybe it's all part of the storyline we're being worked. That's where we find ourselves in August of 2025. The Rollins thing was a work. Karrion Kross, I don't know what to think anymore, okay? I went from thinking this guy is definitely not being re-signed. They don't give a shit about him, and he's on his way out. To then thinking last week, this has got to be a work. There's no way that he's not the top guy in the company, but he sold a lot of shirts this past year. He organically got himself over, and they don't like that when you do that because if you're not part of their plans, they don't give a shit. It's the same thing like with the Vince regime. But then he, doesn't have his contract renewed. They renew a lot of people. And I questioned myself, like, okay, why would they renew that person? What's the point of keeping that person around? Even with Karrion, like you could say, let's keep him around, but as a jobber or whatever. Now, to be fair, they did end up offering him a contract on last Tuesday. His contract expired on Sunday. Why are we waiting until days beforehand? And then his story, according to the Ariel Helwani show, was that they offered him a deal on Tuesday. And he reiterated all of this was not a work. I mean, again, believe what you want. I'll talk about that. But, like, he said that they offered him a deal on Tuesday. He needed more, like, background information as to why they came to that number. So, clearly, they lowballed him, in his opinion. He didn't say that, but, again, read between the lines. And he didn't get back to them. And then within 24 hours, they rescinded the offer. Didn't even offer anything to Scarlett because they weren't going to get him. They weren't going to offer anything to her. And that was it. And he hasn't talked to Triple H all year. They put a point man in the middle of them to kind of have those conversations. Whereas 3 years ago when he was brought back, Triple H fucking called him on the phone. I mean, it's a different WWE now. They're owned by TKO, a lot more moving parts. It's an interesting situation. Now I have no idea what to believe. I still think he could actually be gone, but they're just telling him, hey, leave for a little while, we'll bring you back in 2 months. Go do the indies, make people think this is real, that we're not bringing you back. Because otherwise, to me, none of this makes any sense. I know he's not like, again, the most biggest prospect in the world, because his matches with Sammy were, they were pretty mediocre, okay?
What were they again?
They were pretty mediocre. But come on, like, what are we doing here? Like, we're not going to re-sign this guy? I mean, I don't know. It's maybe they were like, listen, if he delivers with Sammy, we'll re-sign him. But the matches weren't any good, and they were like, all right, fuck this. This isn't really worth the investment. A lot of moving parts here. What are your 2 cents in the whole situation, Mr. Marceau?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're like working us into thinking it's real, but I think he might be gone. I don't know. Like he like started the interview like this is Kevin talking, not Karrion Kross. I'm like, okay. Like you said, he's like, oh, like do you want to go to AEW? He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
If he shows up in AEW, it's not a work, okay? But I don't know if he
clearly,
would.
But like he was like, I don't think I'd work there. Like it just wouldn't work there. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know. Like you said, maybe it's one of those things that's like he kind of like goes away for a little bit. Like, how can I miss if you don't go away?
Yeah.
Kind of like feed the fans up, wanting him back more, and he comes back. Or like you said, maybe there is a deal, and he's kind of like, oh, I'm not coming back. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty strange for him just to not come back at all. But who knows? Like I said, I feel like at this point everything's a work, so who knows what's going on.
Is that a dangerous territory to be entering where for fans, I honestly like the surprise. I don't really want to know, honestly. Does it affect me if Karrion's situation is a work or a shoot? No, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I think it's cool. I don't want to know. But do you think it's a dangerous territory to enter where Fightful was reporting that if it is indeed a work, no one was clued in on it? The talent, I mean, they're not going to clue in the talent. They don't give a shit about the talent. But like higher ups in the company, legal people, had no idea. Like, they think he's actually gone, which I think he is. I think he's not legitimately under contract. But I'm just saying there's a chance that he's not under contract, but they came to an agreement. When I say they, I mean like Triple H, Nick Khan, whatever. And they're like, hey, we'll bring you back in a month. We'll have you invade Raw or some shit. Do you think it's a dangerous territory or a precedent to be setting where you're not telling the people in the company certain things and you're kind of getting into Carney territory? Or do you think it doesn't matter?
I mean, depending on the people, I don't think it really matters. I mean, the less people know, then the less chance. Like you said, then you get more fresh surprises. And more people know, there's a better chance of getting leaked out. So,
do you think that's why they're doing this now? Like they're trying to work even the talent? Because where are these leaks coming from? Is it when I say leaks, like what'd you say?
They said like maybe they're doing this just to evade leaks. I mean, there's always leaks going on. So like I said, if only senior people know, then how, like, then you know, like, if only 3 people know and it's getting out, then clearly someone's leaking it out.
Well, did you see the report that people in the company, talent, behind the scenes people were upset about the whole Rollins thing being a work because they thought he was actually hurt? I mean, why? Who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Was there any reference to like it? Why does it matter?
I guess it's the bigger picture, not really about Rollins specifically. They don't want to be lied to. I don't think they should be lied to about important stuff. Like the Rollins injury, it's part of a storyline. Who cares? It's not like they're saying, like if Punk was out, like for example, this would be dumb. If Punk was blindsided, okay, and Punk won the world, this would never happen. But let's say Punk won the world championship and then Rollins showed up and he thought he was actually hurt. That would be kind of fucked up. But if Punk knew, which I'm sure he did, because it's CM Punk, then otherwise, who really cares? That's what I don't really understand.
Like people that have no actual say complain that they didn't know.
Yeah, Nikki Bella didn't say she was upset, but she said that she was surprised. She was on her podcast saying, oh yeah, I had a whole conversation with Seth at Evolution backstage about his knee for like 30 minutes. I don't know if she was upset or not, but it's like, okay. They made you think it was real because they can't trust anyone because there's so many leaks. And I don't even understand the point of the leaks. Do people get paid for the leaks? Is it people on the creative team? Is it to kind of test the waters to see, oh, if they're going in this direction, we want to see how the fans feel about it first by putting reports out there? I hate the fucking leaks. I think it's annoying. Like, oh, this person's supposed to turn heel soon. What's the point of leaking that to the dirt sheets or newsletters? And I'm not blaming the newsletters because they're just doing their job. But for people within the company, I just don't understand the benefit there. It's stupid.
No, like I said, I think people getting mad just need to grow up.
As far as the Rollins thing, I think people need to grow up. But the Karrion Kross thing, again, does it affect you if it's a work? Like, I mean, people are now questioning things. I think it depends what it is, but I think you should be Here's where I think you should not be working people. The Brock thing, in my opinion, I think you should have let people know ahead of time. That's a more serious situation of someone that was named in a lawsuit.
Oh my
Vince
God. How long am I
McMahon
going to do this for?
Vince McMahon being back in the company, they should not have worked people into thinking, oh yeah, he's not coming back, and then he comes back. That could be a safety concern. He's a weirdo, okay? But with the Rollins thing and the Kross thing, I don't really think it's that big of a... I think it's awesome that we don't know. But with the other shit that's more serious, that's where I would draw the line.
Yeah, I mean...
It depends what we're talking about.
I guess, like I said, I think it just, like, depending on who it is, like I said, I think, like, obviously, like, senior people should know, but not, like, the fucking janitor needs to know that Brock Lesnar's coming back. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree.
Who cares?
Yeah. Maybe senior talent. I don't know. I don't know who knew about that. Probably not many people. But it's an interesting situation. But with Kross, do you think it's a work or is it a shoot? As of right now, I'm still leaning
he's
work.
currently gone, but I think he'll be back.
Do you think that's the plan, or do you think that they really genuinely don't want him there and that they will bring him back? Like, which one do you think it is?
I think it's like planned that he's gone for now, but come back.
That's what I'm thinking too. And I'm sorry if I feel like you can't blame me or you for feeling that way, because the Rollins thing was a very well done ruse. And here's the thing. The only reason why we knew that was a ruse, I mean, him not offering any injury updates after the fact was a little weird, sure. But the only reason why we kind of talked about that even, there was a big report from John Pollock, who's actually pretty credible. Post Wrestling, I think is where he's from. He said, oh yeah, someone from WWE hit me up, and he wouldn't lie about this. He said after the Rollins thing happened, he goes, someone from WWE hit me up that weekend saying, oh, keep an eye out for Rollins' injury. Like, if you see it, it's a work. And that actually, like, he legitimately got messaged that before it happened. That's what I'm saying. Why would whoever said that, and I don't blame John Pollock for saying that, like telling us what he was told. But why would someone tell him that? Why would you want to ruin the surprise of the Rollins thing? You know what I'm saying? What's the fucking point of that? I don't get that.
When you get out of it, there's nothing you get out of it.
You get nothing out of it. You just ruin the surprise for any fans, where all of us were expecting it by that point. I'm sure there's a lot of casuals in the fan. Oh my God, he was out. Oh, that's crazy. But like, it's stupid. I hate the leaks. Yeah. That's my point.
I hate the leaks, though.
Hate the leaks. But with the Kross thing, don't know. Maybe he shows up on Dynamite and he's still working us. Maybe they work out an agreement with Tony Khan. Hey, can you make him think that people, like, he doesn't actually work here anymore? And midst of all the counter-programming, they were like, hey, we'll make it look like we're rivals, but we're actually working together.
There you go.
It's all a conspiracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all one giant conspiracy. We'll start winding down here in a couple minutes. Hunter, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining now. You're going to have to go back and listen to the part where we talked about WWE going head-to-head with All Out on September 20th. We did discuss that earlier, so go back and check that out from a little earlier on. Maria also said, because we live in the world of leaks, WWE needs to keep everything secret. The people crying about being worked need to shut up. Yeah, with the Karrion Kross thing, I don't really mind personally. I think it's cool that I genuinely don't know. I'm still leaning work. I think he is actually legitimately gone, but I feel like that was part of the play. And I mean, again, with the Rollins thing, it's hard to say, because I feel like we're entering a territory now where we don't know what's real and what's not. But I'm intrigued, and I feel like his interview really fueled the flames of making people think that he won't be back. But I'd be very surprised, like I said, for someone who is very likely not going to be a world champion for them, who may not be a world champion, but organically got himself over, was on TV quite a bit before he left. He was in a notable storyline with Sami Zayn. Thankfully, they wrote him off too, which I was also happy about. It's not like he just disappeared from television a few months ago. I would be very surprised if they did not come to terms on a deal, because he even said in that interview that he wants to go back. You know, so I'm sure they'll work something out, and hopefully they can incorporate it into a storyline and make it a big deal when Kross resurfaces, and they can make it sound like, oh my God, like Kross is bad. Like he doesn't, we don't want him back, but he's here, he's standing in the crowd, and I feel like that'd be cool. But I will say this one last thing on Kross. Do you think the consequence of doing something like that were similar to R-Truth? Another like, oh, is it work? Is it blah, blah, blah. He was actually fired. R-Truth was definitely totally fucking fired, okay? But they brought him back, and that was cool. This is different. I feel like the Kross thing could be work. Nothing. To do nothing. He was serious, cut his hair off, a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz. I was very intrigued. And then he's out there goofing with John Cena on SmackDown. Does something like that make you worried? Where R-Truth was never part of their plans. They weren't like, you know what? We were going to do Cody and Cena at SummerSlam, but because R-Truth got so over, we're going to pivot from that plan, and we're going to put R-Truth in there instead of Cody. And we're going to have R-Truth take the title off of John Cena. No, that was never going to happen, nor should it have. But like, you could have had more of a plan in place for Truth to capitalize on the momentum that he had at that point. Seeing that sort of stuff, Mr. Marceau, does that make you worried that with the Kross thing, clearly he's not part of their plans? If he was, he'd be on fucking TV right now in a notable storyline and not losing whenever it matters most. But if they do bring him back and capitalize on this buzz, is he gone? Is he not? This is all part of the plan. What's the benefit? Do they actually elevate him? Or is it just goes right back to where he was before and there's nothing gained, nothing lost?
With the second thing, I just, like you said, if the thing is, like, if they're going to actually use him, they would have done it already. And I feel like, I don't know why people don't understand it. Like, I know, like, he had buzz and all this other stuff, but they were capitalizing then. Why would they capitalize on it now? It's the same thing with the R-Truth stuff. They got rid of him because they're like, we don't need him. No one, like, clearly it's not, we have no future for him or no plans.
Yeah.
They get rid of him. People complain. They bring him back. He literally does nothing. And now he's back to being R-Truth again. Like, what was the point at that point?
They don't value truth. Yeah, no, I agree. They don't value Kross either. They value him enough to offer him a deal because they did. I mean, if they didn't offer any deal at all, I'd be honestly shocked. But they offered a deal, which is what he said. It wasn't a very big deal, but that's the deal that they see him at. Now, I don't know how much money. I don't know how much money it is, but we can sit here and argue, oh, is he worth more than that? The fact of the matter is, could they have done more with Kross in the company for the last 3 years? Yes. But to go back to what I said, and I can't emphasize this enough, because people look at stuff from rose-colored glasses here, okay? The guy was given a few opportunities, and nothing really came of it. Like, he had matches with Sami Zayn, one of the best workers in the company. And the matches were largely good. They were solid, well-worked. They were fucking boring, though. They were not show stealers. Kross didn't go in there and have this amazing match. If you were to name right now your favorite Karrion Kross matches in WWE from the last 5 years, you would still probably have 4 fingers left over. I'm sorry, like, that's just the truth. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. And I think there's a role for him, and I think he has value. But at the same time, they only see him at a certain level. Maybe try your hand somewhere else. Go have success somewhere. If this is real, go have success somewhere else. Come back. Maybe they'll try to push you at a bigger level. But if you can't get the job done when the bell rings, then maybe they were right about you the entire time. That's the reality of it, in my opinion.
No, I'm right there with you. Like I said, I think we were one of the only people when he was in NXT who were really supporting him. People say he's boring, that he's only an entrance, which I see. I mean, I think he does have some untapped ability in the ring, but like you said, his matches just kind of always fell flat. Like, they're fine, but it's nothing past that point. And maybe, like you said, they just see him as he is an entrance with his wife, and they put him in with Sami Zayn. He still couldn't get a good match out of him. Like, I mean, at that point, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's interesting too, and I make this comparison. I made this comparison before. Bray Wyatt was another guy where when the bell rings, nothing special. I mean, again, with Bray Wyatt, like, he had some very good feuds, but also some fucking awful feuds, and didn't have a whole lot of great matches. And we were both big Bray Wyatt fans. The Daniel Bryan match was great. The Shield match was great. Guess what? Those were all early 2014. He was with the company on and off for another decade and did not have any level of those matches again after that. Most of the matches were decent. Like, there were some decent matches. Nothing great. But I feel like the biggest difference between Kross and Wyatt, very, very similar. Great entrances, got that aura. Wyatt just connected with the audience on a different level. Kross has gotten more over this year, but it took him 3 years to get to this point. Why weren't people react? At least Bray Wyatt would get reactions, you know? Like, his booking was terrible.
He actually cut good promos, though. I feel like Kross was, like, kind of like
I feel like
decent,
he cut good promos.
Decent, but, like, I feel like Wyatt was, like, a better storyteller at that, which, like, got people to connect with him more.
Yeah, he was a better storyteller, maybe more marketable with the merch. He kind of stood out as being different. Kross goes out there and kind of looks like he's a great physique. He's a body guy, but he also looks like just another WWE body guy that you probably would have put the belt on in 2005 on SmackDown and had him team with Heidenreich. That's what he kind of looks like. Bray Wyatt was different, bigger dude. He had kind of that Dusty Rhodes vibe to him where he was bigger, but he could talk you into the building. The Colt thing was cool. The Fiend thing was awesome. It's a different story. So, I don't know. I want to see Kross back. I like Kross. Don't know where this is going. I like the fact I don't know if it's a work or a shoot. I'm still leaning work. I still have my tinfoil hat on. But maybe I'll feel differently in a week. But check out that Ariel interview. I thought it was really good from the clips that I saw. Last thing here, someone asked, AJ, what's going on, brother? He said, do you feel like wrestlers being in their 40s is their prime or their peak? In 2025, that's a good question. What do you think, Mr. Marceau?
Yeah, I mean, I think it all depends. Like you said, I mean, the guys I can think of that are in their 40s now or older, I would say they're all kind of at that Kross most of them are at the end of their career. I mean, someone like AJ, I feel like he could still wrestle for a while, but I feel like he's kind of an outlier. Like Cena, I feel like he's kind of over the hill. Edge, Christian, I think they're even older, but they're kind of at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, LA Knight, I think he's in his early 40s. Still think he has a few more years left.
I'd say probably 35, 40, depending on who you are.
Yeah, I would say like your peak's probably 30 to 40. Once you get past 40, you're kind of getting past that point. Your prime, I would say, is depending. You know, thing is prime too. It's like all depends on when you're starting.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you're already been a veteran for a while and like you start hitting your stride, like most of the people, I'd say it's probably your early 30s into your mid 30s, depending on how long you've been around.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you look at like Becky was probably in her early to mid 30s, Seth, Roman, trying to think of other people on the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know who was in their late 30s. Damian Priest, I know, was 40. Balor's like 45. I don't know on the current roster. I'm not sure. Charlotte, late 30s, I think. She might be 38, 39.
Yeah, but she was starting to like kind of hit her prime as like in her early 30s. Like she was winning all those titles and shit.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I would say it's probably in your early to mid 30s. I mean, obviously we have people that are younger, but I also feel like when you're younger, I mean, like even like Tiffany Stratton, like she's great now, but like, I mean, give her 3 or 4 more years of experience. I feel like you'd say she's probably more in her prime. Same with Roxanne. She's great. She's 23. Give her a few more years. She should be even better. Vice versa. So, like, her prime might be not until she's 27, 28, but she's doing good now. I mean, it's kind of like an ebb and flow thing, but, I mean, I think most people at this point. I mean, if you go back to the 90s, I mean, most of those guys were in their prime. They were in their 40s.
Yeah.
Hogan, Nash, Hall. I mean, all those guys are in their late. Yeah, Roddy Piper, Macho Man, like, those WCW guys are all older, and they were all in their early to mid to 40s at that point.
Yeah, it's true. I feel like also, like he's talking physical peak, but another thing to consider is like the character work and the mic work and stuff like that. Like Roxanne's always been great in the ring. She's been great in the ring since I saw her in Ring of Honor 4 or 5 years ago. But I feel like she'll really find herself in the next 3 to 5 years. Like Rhea Ripley has always been good. She's been there for like a decade. She'll be a veteran in like 2 years if she's not already a vet now. But she didn't really find herself and really break through with the audience until like maybe a year or two ago. And now she's at like, and I hate to use this comparison, but like the Stone Cold with the women of like, she gets massive reactions every time her music hits. Roxanne, I feel like, will be at that level. Some people get those reactions from the get-go. Rhea had to build to that. Roxanne will get there. Who else is young? Dominic Mysterio, good. Like, again, look how much he's progressed in the last 5 years.
I mean, he's been like night and day. Like night and day.
Yeah, and he'll be even better in a couple
of years.
Plucky,
like young baby face that no one could connect to. He was like okay in the ring, but I feel like his mic, like he just didn't like no one, like he was Rey Mysterio's son, like no one really cared. Now I feel like he's kind of been on his, like he's like hit his own peak. Like you look at him outside just being Rey Mysterio's son now.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I feel like LA Knight, he's like 40, and could he have been a top guy in WWE 10 years ago if he was as – I remember him 10 years ago in TNA. Yeah, he could have been, but he wasn't ready. Like, he just didn't have all the tools to kind of put it together until, like, now. They're still not really capitalizing him in that role. But, you know, at least he is more ready for that opportunity now than he would have been 5-10 years ago. So it kind of depends on who we're talking about. Interesting question, though. We'll be back next week talking everything else going on in the world of wrestling. Forbidden Door coming up that weekend, as well as NXT Heatwave, which is coming up that Sunday, which we'll talk about, and we will be in attendance for that Sunday. Still got to make sure to, give the bank my arm, my leg, the loan, everything to get those tickets. So, I'll be in touch for sure as it gets closer. But I look forward to seeing you next Sunday, brother. I'm looking forward to that, but I'll see you next Thursday before then, right here on WrestleRant Radio. New episodes every single Thursday. WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com. The video, of course, right here on the YouTube channel every single Thursday. Find it on all your favorite major podcast platforms. Shout out one more time to the channel members: Alexis Missmon Matthews, Dylan LeJacmo, Mrs. Renee, DJ Swerve 1, Daniel Malcolm, Mr. Marceau himself, John Ritland, Richie, and Average Grunt. Thank you so much for that. More information on that in the description box down below. At the very least, be sure to like this video, subscribe. All that support is greatly appreciated. And turn on the bell for notifications for every time we're live here on the channel and every time new content is uploaded. So that's about it. We'll get into more of the news next week here on the show. Thank you once again to everyone joining live. Maria, Hunter joining in late, AJ joining in late, Nathaniel, Noob, Fresh Fly. Thank you all so much, Fernando, for all the great chats. We'll be right back here next Thursday. Any parting words, Mr. Marceau?
Got nothing.
Hey, listen, support the companies, support businesses, right? They don't have enough money. Go pay them some more.
Support local businesses, guys. WWE is local, so support them.
Support those local businesses. And remember, I put up the picture earlier. Remember what Vincenzo said. Hulk Hogan was not a racist. He just said some racist things. Quote it, get it on a t-shirt. The man, listen, those will be his dying words. The welted Max Man himself.
Yep.
Wise words from one Mr. McMahon. Man, the man damages his legacy with every breath that he takes. God bless Vincenzo McMahon. Remember, get those chants ready. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Vince. Oh, they're coming. Bully Ray said he's coming out to Raw one of these weeks, and we're all going to freak out and do the bow. I'll be sitting here saying, listen, piece of shit, fuck him, awful, me in the arena. Yeah, no chance. What? Can't wait, pal. All right, folks. God. Have an awesome one. For Mr. Marceau, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch you right back here on the show next week. Until then, folks, take care.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.